good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm at Suits Direct.
Camden Town.
Suits Direct, Camden Town, with my main man, Dean Okoye. This is awesome. I mean, Dean, the whole thing with Facebook now is just blowing me apart because
Afternoon. How you doing?
I'm just getting to learn these new things, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you hear me talk about Dean, but it's actually the first time we met, right, Dean?
Yes, in person.
First time
spiritually, I've been on your journey, brother.
First time we met in person, and I said, let me just walk down and just enjoy the atmosphere of Camden Town on a lovely Saturday with kids in the background. It's a family store, as you can see, you know.
It's absolutely a family store.
But Dean, listen.
Yes, sir.
The basic tenet
Yes.
of our meeting was simply on the basis of black empowerment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're on Dr. Boyce just a couple of days ago,
Yeah.
which has just actually, I think it has sent a ripple effect through the States.
Yeah.
Because what is happening now is people sometimes see us in the UK as
Wide asleep.
and I follow back
Yeah.
with them. But actually what they're seeing
They
now
are
is
wide asleep.
they are wide asleep.
And they have no one to follow.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Clarity
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yes.
And I
yes.
think people should have clarity
Yes.
about their position.
And that's
Yes, sir. I think all of us need to have clarity about our position. I've been a businessman for 24 years.
yeah.
But now my particular interest is being in the business of black people.
Yeah.
Because we need to be in the business of us. We've left that to other people.
Yeah.
And when I hear Dr.
Boyce.
Boyce Watkins speaking with his colleague about black wealth,
Yeah.
and when she says that we have to rely on the government, you don't rely on your oppressor for
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Afternoon.
You don't rely on your oppressor for anything. You don't rely on those who keep gaining wealth from you being behind. Perfect,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Just the one.
Yes.
Just the one.
And
So the point that I'm making is our wealth is within us.
Sorry.
yes.
Afternoon.
Afternoon,
Captain Slybourne.
afternoon.
I'm going to be with you guys in 2 seconds.
Everything is live, okay?
So the
Yeah.
point that I'm making is, because we can rely on our own resources, we've been fooled.
Yeah.
Because number one,
Say good afternoon to Paul.
afternoon, Paul. How you doing, sir? God bless, brother. I got some gifts waiting for you as well. Come down and get it. Because we are used to relying on government statistics, which are false, representing us. The question that I'd ask, why would you ever rely on a statistic from a person that called you an ethnic minority? So they've already created a propaganda to negate your power. And then you rely on them for statistical information. So we will never ever know the true statistic of
Yeah.
anything that they're presenting. So what I've managed to gather around me with the talented 10% are my own statisticians
Yes.
who are working in transition of the black pound, are our own academics feeling out the commercial ground space. And in terms of the tax that we actually contribute to the economy, if that economy isn't doing anything for you and if you're not being represented by that tax pound, why would you pay it? So let's suck it out of the British economic system and utilise it for us.
Yes.
So in the same way that you would be reliant on the government to purchase freehold buildings, to build schools, chambers of commerce and things of this nature, you're no longer asking and now you're leading. So as you start to purchase freeholds, that works for you. And those freeholds are a base for all of us to meet economically, and it's a very feasible and tangible solution to our challenges in the UK.
Yes.
So those can be duplicated globally. And we don't need to ask anybody about that.
Yes.
And for any of the naysayers saying that we can't come together and do business, you're not qualified to speak on the topic that you're addressing.
Right.
Because I'm doing it. And my colleagues and delivery partners are doing it together as a singular solution. So for all of those people that have come into contact with me and know that they're operating at the highest echelons of their field, we are aware of exactly how dangerous those minds are within a room.
Yes.
And you're talking about differently a cabinet. You're talking about a nation inside of a nation operating as a cabinet. I'm going to
Yes.
send to my customers.
Okay, good.
Yes, man. No, I don't have it, my love. One, and I did a lot of proms with it, and I don't have.
Okay.
Does this one come in a 46?
As you can see, I'm here, I'm just just walking around and
I haven't got any out.
yeah,
I
supporting
did
Dean here.
Yeah.
as well. One of the key things that I strongly want to do and is doing, is to, today I was actually at the Conservative headquarters actually doing some campaigning, and one of the things that I saw, I see something in that store. What do you see in the store? Okay. Should I do a tour of the store and then you can see it? Okay. Early, I'm gonna do a tour of the store and you tell me what you see. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we do a tour. Here we do a tour. We do a tour. When you see what you see, you let me know what you see. Go back to the shoes rack. The shoes rack. Okay. The shoes rack. Is that the shoe rack? Which one? I'm going down, going down, going down, going down. Oh, you pass it. Okay. Okay, which one?
46 regular.
Which one?
Okay, sir.
There.
Was it for a particular occasion?
Up.
Was it suits you were looking at?
Is that the one, Erdley?
I beg your pardon? I'm not bad.
Yeah. Is that the one? Up. Okay. Up. Must be that one then. That's it. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's the one you want.
You put me in video, yeah?
You want to be in the video?
Strike a pose.
Strike a pose. Strike a pose. It's a baby striking the pose as well.
Yeah,
Are you gonna strike a pose as well? You strike a pose. Everybody's striking the pose. She hasn't. Your wife hasn't struck the pose yet.
She's always serious.
She always. Not saying anything. Okay, so you're talking about the tan loafers with gold buckles. Oh, you want the tan loafers with gold buckles? Okay. Hey, Dean, I think I'm making some sale here, Are you full info? I need full info on this store. Okay. How are you guys? Yeah. Okay. Well, let me start from outside here. Let me start from outside here and do it. Well, I'm now on the. Oh yeah. We're at Camden High Street, and you can see the vehicles there. At Suits Direct. And you can see. Thanks for zooming in. And there's some more. Apparently from that discussion with Dr. Boyce a few days ago, the sale in Dean's store as ricochet. I think one of the things that we are seeing happening now is that whenever there is a media alert of a black store, a media alert of support, somehow the community rally around. So when we talk about that the community doesn't support each other, I think it's a fallacy to a certain point that the support is not there, because the support is completely there. But what I'm recognizing is that people don't know, and if people don't know, they can't support. So therefore, what we're talking about is getting people to know what the different stores are, and this is not about a boycott completely of everything, but it is actually an empowerment and an enlightenment of all the things or other stores, so that is one of the key things, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to actually see you later, man. Bye. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to actually come out of my normal schedule and to pop up to Dean's place to give that level of support, because as I give that support, I would like that support. Yeah, we want that support as well. Which is very well, and just show you activities in the store now. I keep giving some different angle there.
Well, for the photographs,
There it is.
sometimes it's nice, and then wear it again as well. Yeah, absolutely.
There is it. Hardly, I agree. We have to fight hard, but guess what? It's better we fight hard now than fight later. We fight hard now, so therefore our children don't have to fight the same fight. Am I right? Yeah.
If we don't do that, then
They're gonna
we
be,
don't break it.
and they're gonna be fighting the same
Do
battle.
the same thing over
Yeah.
and over and
Yeah,
over again.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
how can we start a new legacy? So we have to do something
Yeah.
different so that our kids, the future generation, know
Yeah.
something better.
Dean, apparently we got some sale on the shoes. You know, how much commission do I get? I got a few sale on the shoes so far.
Hey, we do something, but I fear I'm going to be your regular wardrobe guy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Dean is going to be my the person that dresses me for the show. Actually, I'm telling him that he's going to do it anyhow. Still. And guys, this is another angle, Gene. Yeah.
Yeah, so literally we go from A to Z, from shoes all the way through suits, jeans, shirts, overcoats, and we got a full adjustment service as well.
Okay, and I will adjust it. I will adjust it for you.
God bless you.
Okay, so this is more. Yep. Oh, sorry, I went a bit too fast there.
I'm just gonna go out on the road now and look and see what's.
I set up first customer.
That's right.
Because we got the same name. Yeah. When I do the switch over, it's easy. Yeah. But he had 5 years of returns for his company. Yeah. So now he's got 5 years to learn to manage.
Suits.
Their hobbies
Suits.
can become anything.
Suits.
That's what it is.
Suits.
That's what it is. That's how anything
Suits.
starts from your hobbies.
Suits.
You know,
But it's just about
Suits.
there we go. You know, and
Suits.
just observing.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
it is, observing.
Suits.
More people than have the youth are sitting down there and not doing nothing.
King, I can't get involved in that. I can't get embroiled in that because
that's a never ending.
to me it's not a thing of men. Yes, sir. Not waistcoats. No. I used to be able to get it, but when I fix it back, that's the nature of it.
Okay, so I'm now a salesman in suits. So tell me guys what you want. Start listing them, okay? It's important that we empower, support, you know. So
What is it, Mark? Straight down, bro. 5 minutes.
I'm going to be talking to Dean a little bit more as well, and possibly
Alright, so how many shades and what's not for you?
I'll bring them on Monday, and you can have a look for them, bro.
I think Facebook has guys. I don't know if you've done a Facebook Live recently. Facebook has done something different. I don't know, but there's some. The store is located in Camden Town. Is it Camden Town High Street? Isn't it?
Yeah,
Camden
Camden Town High Street.
Camden Town High Street. That's where the store is located. Keisha, I was at the Conservative headquarters this morning, actually doing some campaigning for an election, a mayoral election in Midlands. Let me know. Let me know if you have an online store. I'm in New York. Okay. Dean, online store
No.
coming
Nor
up soon.
would I become embroiled in such a thing. But what I will do is put the website up for the tips, and what we'll do is the click and collect service.
Online store.
Yeah. So we'll have a click and collect, and we will have a guide, which is literally tips about how to wear, what to wear, lengths, sizes, fittings. But we won't get embroiled in mail order business.
Yeah.
Because suits are tactile. It's something you need to try on. And to be fair, it's only 5% of guys that walk out of a shop with a suit that has no adjustments whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't become embroiled in that.
Okay, so it looks good. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, sir.
Fantastic. And of course,
Brother, Anytime
Very good, yeah?
All the best, man. Cheers, man. Thanks. Now, then I'll have to send you my money, Sydial. I'm going to support this brother. But I like what he's
Fortunately, you have access to me, brother. So you have access to me, so you're good. And now I've laid eyes on you, I know your size. We'd never actually have to see each other again for me to bring a uniform your size.
Yeah, because we've been talking about getting on the show, but I realized that how things are now,
Yes.
this is the show. This is the show.
Yeah.
Live and direct, ladies and gentlemen, you know. But Dean, let's talk a bit more. I told you today that, and this is important, I told you today that I went to the party conservative headquarters doing some campaigning.
Yes.
Your views, please. I like your different views there.
I don't actually have any views on the Conservative
No,
Party.
not on the party, but about partisan.
No, I'm
about
now speaking on partisan politics. I don't have any views on Labour or Conservative because neither of them have anything to do with us.
Yes.
So if you're of the view that we're in England and they should represent us, then good luck with it, and that's your role, and I wish you every luck with that. For me personally, you have to judge things based on historical reference point, and you have to look at how we've been utilised. So if you're a university graduate, which I'm not a very educated man, you would understand the notion of political waves. So you have the race card, you have the immigration card, you have all of these cards which are merely political waves that get moved up, and it will focus and concentrate on demonising somebody because they have no solutions for the nation. So if I know this to be the case, there's no point in me investing in any of those entities whatsoever. So unless you're creating your own, you're not really speaking a language that I'm interested in. It's intellectual masturbation. You're going to come with a lot of hyperbole, which I'm sure will be very impressive to somebody, but not me. That's not my role. I've spoken on my role. I'm very clear about it. It's merely with the talented 10%, and there's nothing else. And between those people who are business people, they create solutions.
Talk.
Yeah.
Hit a bit more about the talented 10%. Zero into that.
Look, let's speak practically and tangibly now. If you're talking about people who come from finance backgrounds, banking backgrounds, they might have property portfolios, they're dealing with education as well, and they're working at the highest of their levels. Now you're talking about people who are going to invest in our very own infrastructure, which works for us, which isn't controlled by anybody else. So if it's not controlled by anybody else, it's purchased with our tax pound, it's created based on our criteria that serves us, how could we not benefit from that? And when people say, oh, you can't do it, well, as I've said before, you're not qualified to speak on the topic that you're addressing, because if you're not actually doing anything, then you would not have come across these people, and you may not be aware of their capabilities. So if they're doing it in the so-called mainstream, then they will do it for us. So when I'm talking about our talented 10%, you are talking about infrastructure, which involves chambers of commerce, which is when all of the businesses congregate in one particular space. When all of the businesses congregate in one space and the tax pound is being held within that building, you're now talking about our finance parliament, because the charity starts to work as an African Caribbean development bank purely to purchase freeholds in all of the African Caribbean stronghold boroughs to turn into chambers of commerce, schools, shopping centres. So the same way that you have a Morley's in Brixton, which is a small shopping centre, you do that for us. So then all of our manufacturers have concessions, and then they're taking the top pound off the top. The way the business works, just like any other department store, the store takes its 20%, 15%, whatever it is of sales, but those are retail sales, they're no longer wholesale. They have the staff there exactly the same as Selfridges. So now I'm talking about infrastructure, and going across that, I haven't even mentioned the digital platforms that tie all of this together. So when you have African Caribbean free schools, you have an African Caribbean educational television network that goes all the way across nursery to university in exactly the same way that the Open University works.
So it doesn't matter how much access you have to the schools in the beginning, you've got a complete digital network which is created to educate your children to be financially literate, emotionally literate, aware of their history and people, that gives them a grounding in something that is real and tangible. And all of that stuff that's been hidden from them is no longer hidden. And their self-esteem raises just by the very nature of those commodities and entities.
So Dean, in respect of the UK now,
Yes.
the Caribbean now, because
Yes.
even though the Caribbean
Is the global
it's a
diaspora.
global- it's a
Let's
global
forget
di-
about that.
Yeah,
The reason I didn't have the live cast with Dr. Boyce Watkins to boost my ego, or for me to say I've got this many thousand views. Is literally to make transatlantic partners to deliver these solutions. We want to be solution-based organization working with exactly the same people who have the same empathy for their people, who have the same desires for their people across the global diaspora. So that goes across 52 countries in Africa. That goes across all of the islands in the Caribbean. And now, even if you're saying that they're British strongholds, or French strongholds, the key is to create your own resources and work as a nation inside of a nation, working across our own internal intranets, having our own internal education systems, our own economic systems. So now when you're speaking of Brexit, I speak of Blacksit, which was John Canu's concept. Now, a Blacksit is us creating trade partnerships with all of those nations. So you have all of the goods that they have there, we're bringing here, and the resources we have here, we're shipping there. Now, resources and expertise also trade. You got to start looking at how America uses petrodollars. We are going to create our own commodities to trade on that basis, and we're going to do that with Africa, with the Caribbean, and everyone else. Very quickly, you start to trade independently. Not to cut you. Go ahead.
So the base now, okay, that is the ultimate end result.
Absolutely.
The base in
The
getting
seed,
the seed
to
of-
get it started,
get it started,
is to set up one African Caribbean physical chambers of commerce in one particularly stronghold black borough, which I have an idea I will keep to my chest, which you make a technology building which works as an incubator for emerging businesses. You have the experience of all the established businesses in the borough, and it's just an institute of directors for African Caribbean businesses. So we are obligated to uphold, preserve and promote our culture. So you have a restaurant that serves African and Caribbean food. You have a bar, and it's a private members club, so the licensing is completely different. So in essence, what you're talking about is a solution-based building, which is all around economics. So when you have an economic-based solution building, you cannot fail to deliver economic solutions. And our solutions are merely economic, because then as we draw in the talented 10%, you have our psychologists, our psychotherapists, you have all of these people that start to deal with our healing. And then because we're making global partnerships, they start to work on a framework for a universal African codes of conduct, which is going to preserve you culturally. Now, we have African operating systems. If you compare that with a Windows operating system, that was uploaded with the European virus,
That's a virus impact.
which
I'm
is
glad you
what
touched that
we
detail.
need
Yeah.
to cure. But when you look at a virus, it's coding, isn't it? So it's lines and lines of coding across 40 generations of slavery, Jim Crow in the States, and whatever else we've had that's comparable here in the Caribbean and everywhere else. So you look at sexual molestation from their perversities and all of these kind of things. And we start to cure that based on design, not default, because we're never going to find our way to curing our psychological illnesses by mistake. It's got to be by design. So working with our psychologists, working with our solution makers, we start to put all these things together. So when I speak of tangible solutions, it isn't just economic, it goes across the board. It's an entire socio-economic reform. So is Dr. Claude Anderson's brilliant blueprint of Powernomics that gave me the seed. But then we don't discount any of the international colleagues. So when Dr. Umar is speaking of psychology,
You grab a bit of that.
we take what works from everybody, from every single
Marcus
territory.
Garvey, all this-
Marcus Garvey was the father that showed us in the practical terms, in the worst US depression, when Europeans were throwing themselves off of buildings because of the stock market crash. But he was having 1,000 employees in Harlem. And if it wasn't for Hoover, who had his own psychological
Trying to suppress
neuroses,
everything like that,
then they would not, the US government through the FBI would not have committed the legal fraud to sell him a tub with a hole in it, and the Black Starliner would have come to fruition, and he would have developed that exact Blacksit that I'm talking about, bringing goods and services from Africa and taking skills and services, including goods, to Africa. And that is the trade which is interdependent and linked. So when I say we've got to listen to them, in terms of what works for them, they have trilateral commissions. They have organizations like the Bilderberg Group. It's not to say that we duplicate what Europeans do, but we must have in place our own infrastructure which works solely for our people, that does not get involved in any other cause in carrying anybody else's water. And if we're going to carry anybody's water, we're traders. We're going to get involved in a direct trade which is economically, psychologically, and in always beneficial to the wider community. But because Trump is attacking these people, that is not my concern.
Just like with Muhammad Ali when he talks about Vietnam, nothing to do with me.
For their business. So Trump may attack this community who have no care of my community. Unfortunately, it has become reciprocal, because we must be very mercenary about what is... relationships must be reciprocal. And when they're not, we got to leave people alone. So when you come to me to enable you to move past your position, I want to know the most important question you've got to ask people based on power now, which is, what's in it for me?
Sounds a bit very selfish, but really...
No, it doesn't.
No.
1 minute. I'm
just speaking...
No, I've got to cut you for this reason.
Go on,
because I'm very pedantic with language.
Yes.
So when I say what is in it for me, I am not speaking as an individual. I am not saying I will carry your bags if you give me a drink at the end. Because if I have a family and you are now asking me for my intellectual capital and my physical time, you must recompense me, because I need to feed my family. So now I am speaking of the wider African family. Let's not use terms that nobody else uses, such as selfish, because we must grow in sophistication of our language.
But at the same time...
Because everyone else, I'm just going to tell you very quickly, white supremacy has lasted thus long because they sell us these concepts and we buy them. So let us not do it ourselves, so therefore, because we are not limiting ourselves to trading any differently from anybody else in the world.
Therefore, there's a virus, though, you would say, that virus, that imprint, that sort of thinking with that self.
Absolutely.
You see where I'm coming from?
That will make us believe what everybody else does is selfish when it comes to us.
So therefore, one has got to deal with it and pull it out.
Absolutely. It's
like you getting United Airlines to haul and pull it out.
Of course.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's just a sneak preview, which is really, I mean, I've been trying to get Dean on the red chair, but as you know, Saturday is very important.
I'm coming to the red chair.
Coming to the red chair, but actually, we've got a lot so far, and please comment and let me hear what you think about this, because we've got to start the movement. We've got to start now. All right? So
the train is already rolling. And just to let anybody know that is of that ilk, when I speak about the talented 10% and operating at the highest echelons of their industries, the train is moving. And this is an economic train as well. Nobody is working for free. So what surrounds all of the private sector, all of the public sector, is private entities. So when you're talking about a charity to create infrastructure, cleaning companies, transportation, you go across the board, food delivery, whatever industry it is that you're in, there is plenty of private money there. So solution makers will always gain, because if you look at how the nation runs, everything is outsourced as a contract, and we are no different from anybody else.
Well, listen, someone just said you sound more educated than a lot of people with degrees.
I'm not that smart.
Education is more than the systematic study of a subject and coming out with a paper qualification.
I will make one comment.
Yes.
I believe in lifelong learning, and I believe in sharpening your pencil on a regular basis. Yes. So if you actually go into a miseducation institute and believe that you're educated because you came out with a piece of paper that limits you, then you fooled yourself already. Yes. Now, by and large, we are educated that we are taking on this piece of paper to gain a role in a job. Yes. So if you have so many graduates that are unemployed and then don't have the social skills to go into the marketplace or any particular skills they've developed over that time, you'll realise that, and I'm not poo-pooing an education that is formal, but I'm saying you never ever stop gaining across the way. So for me as a businessman and a father that homeschools my son, I cannot stop sharpening my pencil because there is no lack of development in technology. My son is teaching me as much as I'm teaching him. He took over my YouTube channel and he says, Dad, I'm going to optimize it for you because it's a mess. And then he starts to educate me about Twitter. He starts to educate me about the analytics and the trends of social media. And he is a 10-year-old businessman. So I understand I may have put the impetus in there, but he has now transcended what I have sown the seeds of. So we cannot limit ourselves, and we must not limit ourselves to anything. So let's stop listening to Europeans for permissions about anything that we're doing, because in truth, we've always come to a precipice, and we're at that point, and we say, it's here, and we're moving. And you know what we do? Europeans say, yeah, well, look, we held it back because we're waiting for you to ask for it properly. And now you've asked for it properly. There it is. Slow down and crack on with what we've given you. So if I'm telling you we can go to the supermarket and buy flour and milk and eggs and sugar and open a bakery, and you are still buying these pre-packaged cakes, which is going to cost you 80% more than the ingredients that create them. It sounds cold. However, I will say the truth has no temperature. You are a fool. And I don't take back no chat.
And on that note, I have no more comment. Ladies and gentlemen, see us later, and thank you so much for sharing. Dean, that's
Thank
powerful. Nothing more to add, nothing more to take off. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.